Okay, so if you're a student or a researcher, you know the deal. Academic research isn't just rigorous anymore, it's just overwhelming. So today, we're going to build a practical and, maybe more importantly, an ethical AI toolkit to help you navigate all of it. Let's dive right in. So does this look a little familiar? The mountain of papers to read, PDFs and notes scattered across who knows how many folders, and of course, that dreaded blinking cursor. Look, these are the universal struggles. You are definitely not alone in feeling buried by the literature. But what if there was a better way? Here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by really defining the challenge. Then, we'll walk through the 3 big stages of research: finding, understanding, and writing. And I'll show you specific AI tools for each. Then, and this is crucial, we'll build an ethical framework before we put it all together into a brand new, supercharged workflow.
You know, the biggest problem we face today isn't a lack of information. It's that there's just too much of it. Our goal here is to show you how you can use AI to go from feeling completely buried in data to feeling like you're actually empowered to innovate. This right here, this is the most important mindset shift you can make. These tools, they're not here to do your thinking for you. They're your assistants, your co-pilots. They're designed to handle the boring, repetitive, time-sucking tasks so that you can focus on what actually matters: your critical thinking, making those brilliant connections, and coming up with brand new ideas. All right, let's get practical. First step, finding the right papers. This is where so many of us can lose days, even weeks, just falling down a rabbit hole of endless reading. So let's see how AI can make this whole process way more efficient.
Okay, so these 2 tools take completely different approaches. Think of Semantic Scholar as like a supercharged Google Scholar. It gives you these awesome AI-generated too long didn't read summaries, and it can even map out which papers are the most influential. Elicit, on the other hand, is different. You literally ask it a research question, and it gives you back a synthesized answer pulled from the top papers it finds. So it really depends on your goal. Use one to explore the whole landscape, or the other to get a direct answer. 10 times faster. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't about cutting corners. It's about getting back your most valuable resource, your time, and reallocating it away from all that tedious searching and towards deep, meaningful thinking. Okay, so you've used the discovery tools, and now you have a folder with, let's say, 50 PDFs. Great. But now what? The next massive challenge is making sense of it all. How do you turn that digital pile into actual knowledge without spending the next month just reading? Well, this is where a tool like NotebookLM is an absolute game changer. The process is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You basically create your own private collection of documents, your PDFs. Then you can ask it really specific, high-level questions, like, hey, what are the main limitations that the authors in these 3 papers admit to? Or can you synthesize the main arguments against this theory from these documents? And the best part? It only gives you answers based on the papers you provided. That means it can't just make stuff up, which is a huge problem with other AIs. But, and this is a really critical warning, this is a tool for comprehension, not for authorship. The summaries it spits out are meant to help you understand things more deeply, to help you see connections you might have missed. They are absolutely not meant to be copied and pasted into your paper. Remember, the goal is always to help you think, not to do the thinking for you. All right, so we've found our papers, we've understood them. Now it's time for the part that strikes fear into the heart of almost every researcher, the actual writing. Ugh, this thing. We've all been there, right? Just staring at this, completely and totally stuck. You know what you want to say, but for some reason, the words just won't come out. This is exactly where an AI writing assistant can be an incredible catalyst. Tools like Jenny.ai are built specifically for academic writing. And honestly, their standout feature is how they generate these amazingly detailed outlines. You give it a topic, and it doesn't just give you back a few headings, it gives you specific bullet points to think about under each one. It's like having a brainstorming partner that helps you structure your entire argument. From there, it can help you expand on those points, getting you from that terrifying blank page to a solid first draft of your own ideas that you can then shape and refine. So we have these amazing tools for finding, understanding, and even starting our writing. But, with great power comes the need for great responsibility. So let's shift gears to what is honestly the most important part of this whole explainer: how to use this toolkit ethically. This is the million-dollar question we all have to face. These tools can sometimes just make up fake sources, what we call hallucinations. They can amplify biases from their training data, and they can bring up all sorts of tricky copyright issues. So how in the world do we navigate this and make sure we're holding up our end of the bargain on academic integrity?
The very first step is simple, but it is absolutely non-negotiable. We're going to use a simple framework to help us, and the first letter is P, for policies. Before you touch any AI tool, you have to understand the rules. Go check your university's academic integrity policy, read your course syllabus, look up the journal's submission guidelines. Seriously, not knowing the rules is not an excuse. Next up, C is for critical thinking. And this brings us right back to our co-pilot metaphor. You have to be the one in the driver's seat, always. You have to constantly ask yourself, is this tool helping me process information so I can think more deeply, or am I just outsourcing my brain to a machine? The goal is to amplify your intellect, not to replace it.
And A is for agency, which is all about your privacy. This is a big one. When you upload your unpublished manuscript or your personal research notes to some online platform, what happens to that data? You've got to read the terms of service. Find out if your work is being used to train their models. You have to maintain agency over your own intellectual property.
Okay, let's just boil it all down to this. AI is your assistant, not your author. Yes, use it to understand things, to brainstorm, to polish your language. But never, ever use it to generate facts, create references, or make original scientific arguments. And always, I mean always, read and verify the original sources yourself.
Okay, let's put it all together. We've looked at the tools, we've covered the ethics, so what does a modern AI-powered and ethical research workflow actually look like from start to finish?
Here's one possible path. You start your search with tools like Semantic Scholar or Elicit. Then you read, or really understand, those sources using NotebookLM. Step 3, think, is all you. No tool for that part. After that, you write using an assistant like Jenny AI to structure your own thoughts. Then you polish your prose, and finally, you use a dedicated manager like Zotero to reference everything accurately. See, each tool has a specific, ethical job to do.
And really, this is the bottom line. The fear isn't that AI is going to replace researchers. The reality is that the researchers who master these tools, the ones who learn how to use them as powerful, ethical co-pilots, they're the ones who are going to ask bigger questions, synthesize knowledge faster, and ultimately drive the future of discovery. The only question left is, will you be one of them?